Julie is a force. I don't think there's anyone who's met Julie and is like, oh, I won't remember her.
She's a visionary, and she's basically led the way for an industry.
She has always been fierce and just willing to take a chance.
Julie just makes freaking delicious drinks.
This larger-than-life personality, one of the most incredible laughs, which just makes a room feel welcomed in itself.
There really is no bullshit, and like in a really positive way.
If you want to get to the essence of a cocktail, of a concept, of like who you are as a person, just spend an hour with Julie and you'll figure it out.
Julie was born in New York. She spent most of her time growing up, most of her formative years were in Hawaii.
Hawaii is a place of hospitality, and I think that is of influence.
It's a big part of who she is and how she approaches everything.
Julie took her life of living in Hawaii and jump-started this tropical drinks interest.
Julie worked in cafes and restaurants when she was a teenager, and she was great at it. And then she just pursued it and threw herself into it 100%. And that's how Julie becomes Julie.
Before the Flatiron Lounge, Julie is already really a star of the cocktail world. Julie was at San Francisco, then she came to New York. And what happened from there is it exploded.
She worked at a few different establishments. That's where she caught the eye of Dale DeGroff. She started doing these cocktail programs focusing on, shocker, fresh things. Goodbye sour mix, hello fresh lemon juice. She was one of the few people doing that.
But what truly establishes it is that moment that she opens the Flatiron Lounge.
The Flatiron Lounge was this throwback to old New York, a high-end cocktail lounge that was operating like a nightclub.
When she was able to put her name on a bar and open it with her wife, making all these delicious fresh drinks, you really got to see what Julie's style was, and a bunch of her modern classics were born out of that.
With Flatiron Lounge, she was able to reach a much wider audience and teach them, what a good cocktail was.
It worked, and it was wildly successful.
The cocktail industry started to really flourish out of that moment.
Then she helped Audrey Saunders open up Pegu Club. A few years later, she opened up Clover Club.
The Clover Club in Brooklyn is this great hybrid between a world-class cocktail bar and a neighborhood bar.
We just did our best to pay attention to what the neighborhood was telling us, and then we just tried to deliver it in Clover Club style.
And it was in a developing neighborhood, and lots of things started to open up around it, namely Leyenda, where Julie partners with Ivy Mix.
Juliets Bars are not these dreary, dark holes you go to wash away your doldrums. They're places you go to celebrate.
I think the through line that connects all of Juliets Bars is this laid-back, easygoing feeling, but with still such a high standard of quality. Everything was top-notch, but it was not pretentious.
Everything that she does, from the service, from the napkins, to the way a guest is treated, to the quality of the drink, everything has to be thought through.
Julie has this relentless attention to detail, and she never tires.
She sees the wash line on the drinks, she sees what's going on the table, she notices that there's a light bulb out, she knows how many people are in the room, who needs attention, and she doesn't miss anything.
It rubs off on everybody. How good can we do this? She creates that environment.
She's brutally honest. And I think that any mentor, that's what you want. You want to get better at what you do. And you don't want somebody to sugarcoat it or lie to you. The bottom line is always just create the best experience that you can create for the guest, period. Julie's created a lot of drinks, a lot of modern classics.
Some of the classics Julie's known for, the Gin Blossom is a big one.
Her Gin Blossom, I think, is one of the best drinks of all time. There were a lot of drinks that were bucking the trend of the dark, boozy, bitter. She wanted to highlight that drinking can be light and refreshing and fun.
She could have easily rested on her laurels and just done her own thing, but instead she's grown people.
She took me to this free cocktail college, where I also got to go to work and get paid.
People have worked for her that have done and gone to do great things.
I think it speaks to that environment that she creates.
She would allow you to take chances. I can't thank her enough for letting me put sugar snap peas in a cocktail in 2012.
From Brooklyn to Maui, she's got people making drinks in her way. It's amazing how it's just spidering out, and it's across the whole country and arguably the world at this point. I mean, that's a lifetime achievement, right? If you can kind of look out there and look at the DNA of the industry and be like, well, I'm in half of this. That's a lifetime achievement. That's pretty amazing.
If there was no Julie Reiner, maybe craft cocktails would have had a comeback. It would not look like it does now. I don't think it would be as accessible.
Here is a star that has done it, and that is someone who I can look up to and aspire to be. We would not be in the same place as we are now without someone who has that tenacity. No way.
She's fearless. She's willing to try anything, and she's kind. And what can I say? My wife is a total badass.
She took great cocktails and she brought them to the masses. She taught the world how to drink.
I think it's kind of amazing that Julie is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award because she has so much more of her life and of her career to go. Like, Julie is hustling and she's gonna hustle to the day she dies. So you guys might have to do this again in 30 years.
I guess I would say to Julie, what's next?